Ryan Hoke, both with you here from the Wave Storm Tracking team. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. We just wanted to jump on here as we are looking at what's happening down in the Deep South. Boy, they're in quite a severe weather episode down there. A number of tornado warnings have been going on for quite some time. And here we are today, just kind of watching the weather. Wanted to jump on here. I see several of you coming in here. There's really not severe weather going on in our area. So let's just put out a word of caution. This is not a severe weather outbreak for us.
And you'll note that we don't even have the alert day designation here, which definitely shows you that this is kind of a few steps down from what they're seeing down south.
Yeah, no question about that. This is frankly, more of a practice round for us as we get into what we sometimes have as a second severe weather season. Oftentimes we think of the spring months being severe, but we typically see a little bump up this time of year too as we swing into the winter months.
Yeah, typically the secondary severe weather season affects folks well to our south a little bit more than us, but we've had notable severe weather episodes in November. This is not going to be one of them.
Yeah, we want to walk you through what's happening. I see several of you commenting. There's New Middletown, Indiana. Appreciate Gloria being on, Melissa, Jennifer. Those folks that are on, we will be taking your questions, so feel free to jump in. We'll pop some of those up. Let us go through the scenario first. I'm going to give you a radar update, show you where we do have some thunderstorms in the viewing area, and we'll also talk about what's going on to our south. Let's start with the setup. This hasn't changed. If you were watching Ryan at 7 o'clock or me or Brian in the afternoon, you notice that we still have that potential for some stronger storms that move in with wind. And that's the main threat. We're in that marginal risk area. Best timing for us, we've got these storms in our southern counties now, but for us here in Louisville between 9 p.m. and about 3 a.m.
And the gusty winds outside of these storms could go up to 40, even 50 miles per hour in some cases. There's a lot of wind energy associated with this, but not a lot of that storm heat energy that would bring the worst storms into our area. That's what they're seeing to the south now, but not around here. We're too far north.
Yeah, and again, pointing out the vast difference between what they're seeing in the south and what we're going to have here. There's no comparison. If we see thunder and lightning here, that's going to be impressive, whereas down there, they're tracking tornadoes that are actually on the ground. So we don't have to worry about that. Let's take a look at what's going on in terms of wind, because that will be likely our biggest problem. And you can see we're gusting to 22 here in Louisville, most areas 20, 25 miles an hour. That's tolerable, but that will be going up. As the front approaches, you can expect that the wind fields will continue to increase.
And one of the biggest impacts with this whole deal is not just the wind, but the temperature drop too. I mean, we're talking going from 60 degrees around midnight tonight down to the mid 30s by the time a lot of people are waking up tomorrow morning. That doesn't break any records or anything, but it takes you from a light jacket to a winter coat.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big old temperature drop. You see the wind advisory for parts of southern Indiana. These are the storms moving through, getting closer to the Louisville area. You'll notice some lightning showing up. So obviously we have that. The potential for even small hail exists. Here in Louisville, we're relatively dry. Areas just off to our south, however, not the case. Look at that thunderstorm passing through northern parts of Bullitt County, approaching Mount Washington, pushing through Cox's Creek, northern Nelson County, including Bardstown. In fact, I've seen where several of you have said, hey, we've had some thunder, lightning, even some small hail in places. I see Wilma's comment here down in Bardstown saying rain and hail there. So we've had some reports of some small hail pushing through. Not too far from there, down in parts of Marion County, we've also seen, well, there was a golf ball size hail report coming out of Bardstown.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
So that's impressive. Jeez. If we're indeed getting golf ball size hail in Bardstown, that would be impressive, and that's worthy of, almost severe limits. Let's zoom into that just a little more while we're down there. It's past Bardstown. These are moving fast. See the core of that storm, that deep purple? Wouldn't rule it out with, the environment that we have. So moving right between Fairfield and Bloomfield would be the next zone to see some of that hail.
Most of the hail tonight has been pea-sized to penny-sized, maybe nickel in some cases. So seeing that quarter-size hail would be somewhat rare, or golf ball-size hail in that instance. But yeah, wouldn't be shocked if it happened briefly down there near Bardstown.
Yeah, so we're watching that storm. That one, we mentioned earlier that there would be the potential for a rogue storm to go severe. It would be because of wind or hail, most likely. Obviously, we've got a lot of wind energy in the atmosphere. Not out of the question that we'd see a potential for a severe thunderstorm flagged on some of these storms, if especially that hail potential can exist. Let's just look a little further. I'm just kind of scanning the radar now that we know we've had some of that hail. That storm blew up in a minute, too. I mean, when we came into the Now Center here just a few minutes ago, that was just a weak storm off to the south.
Well, you can tell the ingredients are starting to now move in. We're getting an increase in the moisture from the south. The front to our west is starting to get a little bit closer. So this isn't like the main event just yet. We're still pegging it for just a little bit from now, maybe an hour or two, as that front gets even closer to us. But these storms here are going to have a little bit more bark than their bite, just because a lot of these are what we call elevated. We've been talking about this for the last couple of days here. Not having those storms closer to ground level is limiting how much of that wind gust can make it to us.
Yeah, I'm just going to take the radar full here so you can see some of the other screens that we're watching down across the southern part of Hardin County. That's south of E-Town, not too far from Sonora, and over toward the Upton area. Pretty good thunderstorm there, passing through Millerstown over toward Magnolia. You can see the comment I have on the screen from Glenda saying that hail, thunder, lightning, they've got it all in Bardstown. We've had other areas down toward Nolan Lake, vivid lightning, burst of downpour showing up there. We appreciate all your comments, and the report certainly helps us out as we're looking at the radar there. Now, again, just looking at what is happening from the radar standpoint, we have additional downpours that have been pushing all across our viewing area. The strongest appears to have moved just through the Bardstown area. There are other storms downstate Kentucky, not too far from Bowling Green, that we were watching, lifting to the north. And now those are in parts of Greene County, Hart County, pushing into southern LaRue and southern Hardin County. So again, we go well to the south, where you'll notice the very active weather. And that's where we've had our eyes all afternoon. I'll take the radar off and the satellite, and you can see the tornado warnings that are in progress there, both just north of Jackson as those continue to get issued. Columbus, that's again down across the Gulf Coast states. So you're looking at Mississippi, Columbus, Mississippi, over into Alabama. And then Meridian, Mississippi, seeing some of those strong storms. That's where they were pegged in that sort of bullseye that we've been talking about. The severe weather risk down there was in the moderate zone. We exist in the very marginal risk area. Just not enough instability here today to see a ton of severe weather for us.
And that's pretty common this time of year. These are what are called high shear, low cape setups. And cape means the instability we were talking about. And the shear part of this is the wind energy that's necessary to get those storms to be severe. So oftentimes you have just like 100, 200 units of cape, which is not a lot. A lot is like 1,500 to 2,000. But sometimes that can be enough to channel some of those gusty winds down to the surface and become an issue. Now, tonight we have so little of that instability that even that's going to be tough to see a severe grade wind gust around here, but it is possible.
Yeah, and I'm just putting on some of the maps. The tornado potential highest in that hatched area, which you see. Of course, we've realized that tornado warnings are in progress and on the ground down there. So that sort of stands without me saying it. 58 mile per hour plus wind threat again in that zone that you see shaded, very much lining up with that moderate risk area. And again, back here at home, the areas of concern would be lifting up now into northeast Nelson County and pushing into Spencer County. That's the strongest of the storms that we have ongoing across the area.
And that hail core is right now over the Bloomfield area. You see that little white area there. We've got a hail mask on top of the radar there, so you can kind of see where that is. But that's going to be the spot, really just north and northeast of Bloomfield, a little behind there. You see that purple just north and east of where the E in Bloomfield is there. That's where we would have
moving up toward Wakefield into parts of Spencer County. Taylorsville getting rocked with some thunder, lightning, a period of heavy rain. I want to go back to the radar view that we had earlier, and we'll just pop that on. There's the metro, and then this is the one I really wanted to keep on. I'll zoom back out. I think I've masked it over. There we go. So I'll keep that on, that storm, as we just kind of talk to you here. Let's jump into some of your questions, and then we'll wrap things up. I do want to point out that areas to our south, in fact, let me just go full screen for a second, because I want to take you down south where we are watching what's happening. I'll pop up our sister station down across the in Meridian, Mississippi, in fact.
This is WTOK Channel 11 down there.
8:50 tonight. Again, no warnings for that area just yet. If this polygon does hold together, though, those are the timing of when it will be into the area. We are under a tornado warning until 8 o'clock.
Again, you're just listening to our sister station down in Meridian, Mississippi, where they have tornado warnings on the ground. They're on nonstop. We've got a number of stations across the Deep South and across the country with Gray Media. We've got access to about 113 of us stations, and they are working hard down there tonight.
Yeah, Mississippi.
We've got a warning.
Oh, check it out. There it is.
For that storm. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning. This is what we were watching. We pointed it out. You heard it here first. That goes up into parts of Shelby County into southern Franklin County. So this is going to include Nelson, Shelby, Spencer, and Franklin counties with that warning. Radar indicated, but we have had ground truth with this, meaning we have seen the hail in Bardstown. Some of your reports have said it was upwards of golf ball size hail. So,
yeah, and that's why they issued the warning. You see that 1-inch hail designation there, the wind speed less than 50 miles per hour. We've not had any reports yet. There's another warning that just went up for Fayette County there. So these are starting to pop off, it looks like.
Yeah, and I'll mention, I appreciate Rick sending in this. The Zelkes down in parts of Nelson County, just rain, thunder, and lightning there in the Berg. So not everybody is seeing the hail in Cox's Creek. Christy reporting that. If you're reporting, by the way, we appreciate knowing the size, and you can do it by coins. A lot of people will say penny size, dime size, quarter size hail. It's very helpful for us if we know the size. We appreciate any report, of course, but we really like to know how large that hail is. I see a lot of folks jumping in, just wanting to know what it's going to be like in their backyard. We're going to walk you through it. Any storms for LaGrange, Amanda's asking. And the answer to that is we're going to have these scattered storms. Yes. I mean, if you've been watching us, we have said that storms are in the forecast between 9 and about 3. Most will not have to endure severe weather. That's the good news this far to the north. So that's the good news. Eva's saying she reinforced the outdoor decor.
Oh, that's a good idea. You know, we've been showing these graphics.
Deflate the inflatables.
We've been showing these graphics about like what you need to do to make sure that your inflatables and your holiday decorations are all kind of anchored down. We gave it a 7 out of 10 on the scale of impact today.
Yeah, and here's another comment. Brittany's saying they had quarter-size hail, Bardstown. Again, this is passing the Bardstown area, lifting to the north, and you see additional warnings coming out over toward the Lexington area that you mentioned. We have had rain and small hail, thanks to Rebecca for sending in this quarter-size hail down toward Bardstown again.
Yeah, just seeing another report here of some lawn furniture being displaced, garbage cans, et cetera, east of Harrodsburg, Kentucky. That's that second warning there that just got issued for Nicholasville and toward Lexington, Fayette County.
Yeah, you see the radar between Ryan and I here. We're tracking these storms. We came in here with the intent to say, hey, for folks that may be online, where we typically would not interrupt programming on television, we knew that a lot of folks would be hearing the thunder, lightning. We knew there was potential to see a warning or two, and that's what we're seeing over Harrodsburg. That hail course now diminishing just a bit. Likewise with this, less of a wind maker, but more of a hail threat moving through Boyle, Fayette, Jessamine, and Mercer counties, and that includes the Harrodsburg and Lexington area on that storm. Let's zoom back over to the storm we were watching. Again, likewise, they pulse up. That's where we saw the hail. The warning was really issued too late from the Weather Service on this. It hit Bardstown, and now it's weakening just a bit as it lifts farther to the north.
And the wind part of this so far has not been overly impressive in this particular storm cell here. I'm querying on my phone about 40, 45 mile per hour winds within that storm. So that's about the maximum amount you'd see channeled down to the surface with this. The main area of winds aloft has not really arrived just yet for the gusty winds to surpass 50 at this point. So most of this is going to be hail driven for about the next hour, I'd say.
Yeah, and then all of this will weaken well after midnight. And again, if anything keeps you up, it's going to be the wind and the rain as it pushes through, pointing out that this warning goes until 9:15. We're just now coming up on
8:48.
8:48, so about another half hour.
Big
Well, that would be helpful if I just looked up.
It's a very large clock you guys can't see at home with giant numbers on it. So we always know the time.
8:48:16 to be exact. Everybody's keeping up with the seconds. Okay, back to the radar. I want to zoom out. I'm going to just zoom all the way out because there are more than just those two storms. Now, those are the severe storms, but let me show you. Southern southern parts of Hardin County seeing a pretty good clip with storms, and that also could have some hail with it. Notice that deep purple near Mathers Mill. Approaching Hodgenville. Hello, LaRue County. Be on standby. This is really in LaRue County from Tanner right up into Hodgenville. You very well could see some hail. I'd say dime to quarter size hail up into your area too. So hail makers showing up on the radar as we speak. I'm going to also look at the velocity. I know we don't have a lot of wind showing up inside these storms, but it bears watching just to make sure with the wind fields that we have across our area that we don't have to worry about any type of wind threat.
Getting more reports now of quarter-size hail that has fallen, kind of a late report here from Bardstown to Boston, Kentucky. So kind of just corroborating the report we got here on social media just a few moments ago.
That's the storm that's just barreling to the north. So it's already now north of Taylorsville. It's approaching Shelbyville. That's the warning you see pushing into southern Shelby County. Again, looking at the wind fields, nothing that causes raise of the hand for concern in terms of any kind of rotation. This is a hail maker. Let's go back to the hail zone. You'll see where we were watching. There's one area right there. That's the one pushing through Spencer County, Little Mount. That will lift off to the north. And that's going to move into southern parts of Shelby County.
Something I want to say here is you'll notice that as these storms have been moving north tonight, they've been weakening. The storms that moved in from Tennessee about, I'd say an hour and a half ago, weakened pretty quickly. These storms, as they move north pretty much toward the I-64 corridor, they're starting to lose their hail course. We haven't got all the ingredients, all the moisture yet from the Gulf of Mexico that's kind of piped up here at this point. So it's going to take some time to realize sort of the maximum potential of this. And that's not to say we're going to see much more, by the way, but that is to say that not everything has made it all the way north yet. So that's why you're seeing things kind of fall apart before they hit the Louisville area proper here, even though we've got that warning just to our east now. That hail core on that storm in central Spencer County is not looking all that hot at the moment as it's moving in toward Shelby County. So I don't expect a whole lot of concern for like damaging hail here over the next hour or so. But, quarter up to golf ball size hail, that can be an issue, but we're not talking like super shattered windshields or anything from this.
Yeah, our SkyTrack camera here is fairly calm. We don't have much going on in Louisville. Go back to the radar for you. And as I put the radar on, you're going to see the two warnings that we're tracking. Again, looking at the storms off to our east and the one to our south. While there's no warning in LaRue County, that storm continues to show at least promise. So I'm going to take you on a little radar tour. Let's start with what's happening here in the metro area. We zoom into Louisville. We've got just a few showers across southern Indiana from New Albany over toward Jeffersonville, points farther to the north towards Sellersburg. Nothing severe. Same story from Prospect down to Middletown and J-Town. You start to work your way over to the east across parts of Shelby and Spencer counties. This is the severe warned storm that we have for about another 20 minutes, 25 minutes. That storm had hail with it the size of golf balls in some reports, likely smaller for most others. It's certainly weakened since that point as it lifts its way into southern Shelby County. Right now it's south of 64, but we'll be moving north. It'll clip Shelbyville. The greatest part of this should be lifting toward the Grafenberg area. And you see from Hemp Ridge, you're going to be next in line to see that storm push your way. The other storm is out of our viewing area, but it's just off to the east, and that's going to be passing just to the west of Nicholasville. And that storm has had a history of large hail too. That will be lifting off to the north and east. Those are the two severe warned storms. Another storm we've had our eyes on just below severe limits is in LaRue County. That's down toward Hodgenville, now pushing north of Hodgenville toward Roanoke and New Haven. It will approach Howardstown. I know that area very well.
Yes,
because
you do.
Where I'm from, and that zone is going to be next in line for a heavy blast of wind and rain.
Yeah, and that hail core has really fallen down over the last couple of scans, so I don't expect any big hail with that. If it has happened, it's already over with when it comes to hail on that storm. Looks like there was a pea-sized hail report at 8:48 p.m. just south and west there of Hodgenville proper, about 2 miles south there.
You can see how fast these storms move through. I'm going to pause the radar, and then we'll take it step by step as it moved through the Bardstown area, and we'll just kind of step it up through here. Here it comes. You'll notice, and then let me zoom in so you can see it a little better. We first had some of the hail reports. You see Boston and Bardstown. Those two areas we had the hail. Here we are in the time, and there's Boston. Still not a lot. That wasn't a major, echo coming out from Boston with any hail. Would have been minor, maybe even closer to New Haven. The time on that was 8:23, and then we're going to step it into Bardstown, and notice that deepening purple color there as it works its way toward Bardstown, and then boom, went right through the city with that hail, however large it may have been in your backyard if you're in central parts of Nelson County, and then lifted on to the north. It looks like the heaviest may have been about right there when it was closer to
just east of Cox's Creek there.
Yeah, that's where it hits the highest
Yeah.
reflectivity point anyway. And that would have been right at about 8:45, close to when the warning came out, frankly.
Right. Yeah. So as they were getting the reports in on the National Weather Service chat and social media, they're like, oh, we got to issue a warning for this to cover the hail. But so far, I've seen no further reports of that storm doing anything like that downstream, moving through Spencer County and, of course, into Shelby County. If you have any hail reports, let us know the size by coin size, quarter, penny, nickel, dime, and that would help us out greatly.
All right, let's roll through some of these comments. We've got Katie up here. She's saying marble size hail in Fairfield. Appreciate that. We're just going to roll through them as fast as we can because we see so many. I mean, there are literally hundreds of comments here. Laura, thank you. Had hail or had hard rain on Danville's highway. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Nothing in Lebanon, and that doesn't surprise me. Let me just zoom the radar out because I've kind of got it zoomed in tight. We'll just go back to
you guys have been hit by one storm, at least it looks like, and more is on the way there in Lebanon. But at the moment, it looks like just some light rain down there.
Yeah, and any tornado threat for southern Indiana? Sandra's asking that question. The threat of any tornado anywhere in our viewing area is super, super small. We can't say there is no chance because the wind field is pretty strong and there is plenty of shear in the atmosphere, but the chances are super, super low.
It's all because of the lack of thunderstorm energy, that cape or instability that we were talking about.
Yeah, we just didn't have a whole lot of instability today.
No.
Let's see. This was Katie chiming in saying that there was golf ball size hail in the Boston area. I'm fighting a sneeze.
That's the worst when you're about to sneeze on the air.
Right.
I've been there, done that.
All right, we've got Justin saying Bloomfield had dime-size hail. So if we think of that, we had golf ball size hail, Boston, Bardstown, dime-size hail toward Bloomfield. So it appears to be weakening somewhat, at least as we roll through time. That's some good news. And then let's see, Amanda's saying she just heard some hail hitting in Taylorsville. So that's, again, that same storm lifting to the north.
Likely some smaller hail in Taylorsville there, but yeah.
Nicole's asking about E-Town.
And E-Town at this point, it looks like you guys have had a couple rounds of these storms, nothing super big on the hail, though. And it looks like you actually won't see much in the way of a stronger storm here for at least the next little bit. Just to your south and west where the storms are coming from, not all too impressive at the moment.
And she's asking the same question, so Ryan just answered you. Frankie, I'll take yours. And it says, what about Jefferson County? Same story. We're going to have a few thunderstorms moving in tonight along the front in particular. Could see a brief blast of wind, but this isn't a major severe weather outbreak for us.
It's the front that's the most impactful. Some gusty winds and that big temperature drop early tomorrow.
Heard my buddy Alan Jones saying, do you think we're going to see big storms in Louisville? Again, Alan, no, not really. We'll see some, rain, thunder, and lightning as possible. But the bigger storms appear to be already moving off to our east. This isn't the front, by the way. The front's still out to our west, and that moves through later tonight. After midnight, we'll probably see a line of storms along that frontal boundary that will push through.
Let's see here. Sarah says Boston had hail about quarter size. Yeah, you and a whole lot of folks down there in Nelson County. No surprise.
Carrie's chiming in out of Nelson County too. Said there was quarter-size hail between Culvertown and Nelsonville, right in Nelson County. Appreciate that report. Connie's saying hail came through Bardstown. Seems like that was, kind of blew up right over them,
Right.
put down the hail, and then now it's lifting to the north and weakening, by the way.
It hit just the right amount of instability for it to spike in that moment, and now it's pretty much over with.
We've got Bryce, who's always a huge help
Hey,
to
Bryce.
us down in E-Town, saying occasional heavy rain down there. We can see that also on the radar where you see those pockets of heavy rain. Some places getting a tremendous amount, other places not seeing so much. And then we've got a question here from Ashley saying, so the line coming with the front, is it weakening or just the ones coming up from the south? Now, the front itself will be moving in. In fact, let me just show it to you. It's easier sometimes to show this. I'm going to zoom this radar out. And let me put the radar on all the way into the deep south. I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to add the surface analysis. This will show you the fronts. Let me take off the lightning. It gets a little distracting, and we only have it so far out. And if my eyes were better, I could see it. There it is. I'm working the computer over there in front of Ryan.
Yeah, typically, we have a big monitor. This is like a half size of what we use
I
in the
got it,
weather
though.
center. Yeah.
So there you see the front. It's still back out. You notice that, and it's a couple hours old here, but you see the general idea would be to see a line develop out ahead of that too as it moves in. So it will likely be right through there is the front, and the front will be knocking on our door, pushing in. Over the course of the overnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, that front will be passing by.
And it's worth noting, you see two distinct horizontal east-west oriented lines of storms, one in Middle Tennessee through parts of Arkansas, and another one from Mississippi through Alabama. Whenever you have these oriented storms like that from east to west to our south, they are going to steal some of the energy away from the Gulf of Mexico, that moisture, that instability from trying to move in. So often when you have these big severe weather events well to our south like that, it prevents a bigger problem up here. And I think that's part of what we're seeing this evening is the energy from the severe weather event to our south not really making it up here because it's being siphoned off by what's going on down there.
These are some of the wind speeds that we have across the area right now, 10, 20 miles an hour on the wind speeds. Our gusts have been a little stronger, but all in all, it's nothing outrageous at this point, even with the bigger thunderstorms that we have. And those warnings continue for over into parts of Shelby County, Spencer County. We've got a couple of reports here. I'm just going to turn these on. We'll see if we can't.
You can see the hail down in Bardstown there. It looks like a hail report over east of Washington County as well. Those are within the
That's
last
about
hour or so. Yeah.
Those are the local storm reports that we have. Again, the lightning in our area, only with those clusters of thunderstorms that we're watching push through. Those are the only severe storms that we have. And let me just put back on the warning information. So you have that. And you can see that warning for Franklin, Shelby, and Spencer goes until 9:15. We'll see if they keep that out. It looks like it's weakening in.
Yeah, at this point, that's a 1-inch hail indication there, and the wind is 50 miles per hour. You can see it just popped on the screen there, and that's because
That's a new warning.
That's a new warning. Yep, that purple core that you see in southwestern Franklin County is the reason for that there.
All right, so the warning for Shelby, you're out of it, or Spencer's out of it.
Right.
Shelby's almost out of it. The core of that's right on your county line and moving into Franklin, and then it will translate to this Franklin and Henry County warning, and that goes until 9:30.
And I should note the Franklin County part of this warning is literally just Monterey, Kentucky. That is it, like probably 60 acres worth of Henry County. So for you folks in Henry County, 99% of you are not in a warning right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, why even draw it like that, really?
Yeah.
It's really Franklin County.
Yeah. So Peaks Mill, areas near Frankfort, along the Kentucky River there, the hills and valleys of Franklin County, you're under that warning.
All right, severe thunderstorm warnings continue for parts of the viewing area. Again, for folks that are just now settling in, these are hail-producing storms. We've had golf ball size hail in a handful of locations. This is not a severe weather outbreak for us. It is for the folks to the south. Just pointing out, and I'll show you the radar view full screen, the storm that and we mentioned Grafenberg earlier, so
We did.
it wasn't like we didn't give you a heads up there. That's lifting toward Frankfurt, so capital city, especially on the western side of Frankfurt, be on guard for some hail. This storm still has the potential to produce golf ball size hail as it lifts to the north. Darlene saying they had small hail in Bardstown. Love Bardstown. I'll be down there Thursday for the big
The Christmas parade.
the big Christmas parade from the
Kiwanis Club.
That'll be nice. Let's see. Pretty windy. Here's one out of Frankfurt. Already pretty windy in Frankfurt. Zach, yes. Wind from this storm likely kicking out some downburst winds, and that's probably giving you some gusty winds there. Hailing, they had the little in Hodgenville, according to Angie. And I see so many folks chiming in. Ponding of water on the roads down in Bardstown. Be careful. Appreciate those reports. Darlene sending in that one. Crazy weather we're having tonight. Lana says that. They've had hard rain and hail. Several people seeing the heavy rain. Many people, though, seeing no rain at all.
That's right, including folks from like Fort Knox to Radcliffe. Even here in Louisville, we're pretty dry at this point. Let's go on to more of your comments here. Let's see. Do we have any concerns about weather later on tonight? And Haley, I should say, the story is going to be these gusty winds that, we're going to see amp up this evening. There will be some stronger thunderstorms like we've seen here, but nothing out of the ordinary. For right now, it's the hail threat up to about quarter size at this point. Most of the hail will be smaller than that, which would be non-damaging. That's a good thing. The tornado threat is extremely, extremely low here. We just don't have enough instability in the atmosphere to get those rotating winds in the storm down to the surface. Now, there's going to be some rotation aloft in these storms. You might see some rotation on the radar, but it's not necessarily going to make it to the ground in 99.9% of instances here. So there's not a whole lot to worry about, but a lot to keep up with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we've got other comments coming in. Daryl saying we've had marble size hail between Hodgenville and Glendale. There's another Daryl. Daryl, my brother Daryl. You're too old for that. You're too young for that.
I'm over here like
Larry, my other brother Larry.
Yeah.
Anyway, quarter size hail down on Plum Run Road. That's near Nazareth and Cox's Creek. A bit of pea-size hail from Christina. She had that in Campbellsville. So
look at
a
that.
little bit further south into that storm. Vaughn is asking a question about, are they weakening and the tornado threat is low? Correct. Yes, the tornado threat is low, will remain low for us. It's not zero, but it's low. The reason we're on talking about even severe thunderstorms is just because we came in. You can see that warning is getting extended further to the north on that storm. So they're going to go ahead and just track that all the way.
I still have not seen any hail reports out of Franklin County just yet. We do have a new quarter-size hail report, Beaumont area of Lexington, but that's not that storm. So if you've got any hail reports in Franklin County, let us know what size. We're curious.
It's moving pretty fast.
Look how long that warning
I
is.
know. It's just for that one storm. And it's from, they're again, sort of producing that warning through Grant, Owen, and Pendleton County. So that will continue moving. Now, if you're in, I know it's not quite 9:15, we're 9:05 right now, but for all intents and purposes, Spencer and Shelby counties, you're out of the warning. It's already out of your area. So
these storms are moving at 60 miles per hour, by the way. No surprise given the wind energy in the atmosphere tonight, but the minute the storm hits you, it'll be done fast.
Yeah, and I tell you, Ryan, I'm going to let you drive this.
Sure.
I'm going to log on to the SkyTrack cameras here.
So I want to get
Bardstown
cameras on. Yep, you take care of that, and we'll do a little bit more dissection here on the radar here. Let's see. Let's go down to northeastern Taylor County right now. That's where we see area of some red here indicating those higher reflectivity returns. I'm going to put the hail scope on because we did have a report out of Campbellsville of some hail a little bit earlier. It's pretty small there. You see the hail scope not really revealing anything. The math, the algorithm behind that, not really detecting much. But you can see if there were some hail, it'd be just near the Mansville area at this point. Again, that's northeastern Taylor County, just northeast of Campbellsville. All right, zooming out again. We'll give you the latest on what's going on in Greene County. It looks like those storms are pretty non-crazy at this point. The main show is basically up in Franklin County. And then, of course, the Bardstown area. I want to go into central Nelson again. We got another area of purple here. Again, that's possible hail core moving into Bardstown proper here. At this point, it doesn't look super concerning. I think the data time on this is a little late, but you get the idea here. These are moving so fast that the 5-minute updates on some of our radar data can't keep up with like the latest scan of the actual radar here. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint where these hail cores are other than just using what the purple color looks like on where you would see the heaviest of the rain there. In fact, that just updated. So there it is, the hail core there on the south side of Bardstown, getting ready to cross 150 at this point. That is not terribly impressive. I don't think this will put down the quarters, the golf balls we were seeing earlier. This is more of a penny dime nickel sort of situation out of that. And the reason that the National Weather Service waits until you've got like quarter-size hail or larger to issue a warning is because that's kind of the threshold for where you can start to have some damage, cracks on windshields, roof damage, but we're just not really seeing that with that storm. It's the Franklin County storm that I'm going to return to now and dissect that. Let's go underneath the hood. You'll see on the wind velocity here, it may be tough to kind of figure out what that means if you're not trained in this, but to my eye, this is not concerning at all on the wind side of it in Franklin County. Now, on the hail side, you'll notice that it is starting to pick up some returns there on the hail size potential scanner. If we go to the kind of the storm core scanner, there's that hail core right there, pretty much in Frankfort proper. This is just north of I-64. If you know where that exit is with the Chick-fil-A there at Frankfort, that is exactly where this is right now. Those folks could be seeing up to quarter-size hail. Would not be shocked given the radar presentation there. It's a pretty healthy little hail core. Now moving through central parts of Franklin County, and this thing is moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So as I kind of erase that storm core scanner, we can see where it's going here. And you'll note that that warning just to the north and east of that really long because of the speed of the storm at this point. So we'll continue to monitor that for our friends and neighbors there who are watching on Frankfort Cable and, of course, here on Wave Weather Now, both on our weather app and, of course, streaming live on social media.
Yeah, easy to find us. We're just about everywhere nowadays. So all of the social platforms. That's the beautiful part about this room we're in. It's the Now Desk we can be on right away. Let's see. I'm going to jump in and just, again, point out some of your comments, answer those questions. That's why we're here. And let's just roll through it. We've got this strong thunderstorm moving through Franklin County. It's now north of the capital city. Another one over toward Lexington. There's another cluster of storms down across southern Nelson County, or central Nelson County now, moving so fast, already passing through the Bardstown area. Non-severe, by the way, but still the potential to put down some small hail once again in the same zone that it was in earlier. And you can see that purple showing up. This would be round 2 as it moves through central Nelson County.
And as we mentioned earlier, that would be smaller hail than what you saw Boston, Bardstown a little earlier this evening, that hail core, not exhibiting the characteristics that the one before had. Again, Frankfort, the Franklin County area, this is going to be your highest hail potential in the next 5-10 minutes. It's crazy, Kevin, to watch these storms because like Shelby County has literally 0 thunderstorm activity going on right now, but they're still under a warning because these things are flying at 60 miles per hour. They issue, these warnings for 15 or 30 minutes, and storm's already done well before the expiration time of the warning there. So really, when you see these warnings issued, it's kind of the now term, the present to the next 10 minutes that they're in effect for with this kind of a setup because they're going to outrun that polygon so quickly.
Amy Vidito has sent in a hail picture. Brian just retweeted it. And again, that's close to golf ball size hail.
Yeah.
And
that matches up with all the reports.
You can see the reports. Yeah. Had from one of the radio stations down there, Milt sending in a comment saying that tried to get the hailstone, but it nailed him in the head instead, and he decided to abort the mission.
Well, be safe. Right?
It's not worth that, Milt. Milt's a great guy. Works hard down there, WBRT. All right, let's take a look again. I'm just scanning the radar, looking for those hail cores. Still have the one in Franklin County.
Let's see, Waddy, Peytona area, nickel-sized hail. We've got quarters in downtown Lexington right now. The Fox affiliate in Lexington reporting that at this point.
That's our good buddy Justin Logan over there who does the morning shows. And, of course, the team that he works with in Lexington.
And Grafenberg, looks like we've got that nickel-sized hail report that's been made official. Yeah, that's yikes. Moving right through second most populated city in the state of Kentucky.
All right, we get down into Nelson County again. I'm just scanning all of the storms, a little bit weaker as it pushes up through Bardstown and approaches Bloomfield. Strongest storm in our viewing area is the one moving through Franklin County. It's right over Peaks Mill right now. The warning with that storm goes until 9:45. And that storm, well, let me correct that. The warning for that part of the storm goes until 9:30. The extension that takes it into Owen County,
There you go.
that
Yep.
goes until 9:45.
Right, and that's issued by another National Weather Service office there. We just lost the warning there in Shelby County. Officially, that is out of the picture. It's going to show up on our system until its previous expiration time at 9:15. But you folks in Shelby County are out of the woods now.
Yeah, well, I have been for probably about 10 minutes.
When it comes to the warning, though. Yeah. But that storm to your south, that's going to be moving in. That's not as intense. The atmosphere's kind of worked over now in northern Nelson into Spencer and Shelby. So you're going to hear more of these storms move in. But you've kind of seen the main event for you in the near term here within the next hour up there in Shelby County.
James saying, hello, Ryan and Kevin. Hope your Thanksgiving was good. His was great. Hope you both have a great night. Stay safe from LaGrange. We appreciate
Same
the
to you.
comments there. Trimble County, not seeing much now. Again, you see how isolated these storms are. They're not going to infect everybody, but more will be on the way later tonight as the front arrives. But the threat of severe weather is low. I mean, we keep saying the same thing over and over, but that's important to note. Not everybody's going to see severe weather. In fact, it'll only be a handful of you that even see the severe weather threat for tonight. So that's the deal for what Logan is asking about in Trimble County. That's what Ashley's asking about in Lebanon, down in Marion County. Jessica saying they've had quarter-size hail in Sonora. What about the tornado threat down in Campbellsville? Amanda, much the same. It's very, very limited. So, I wouldn't worry about a tornado threat. I would just pay attention to, if the alerts go off, know that we have a very small threat for tornadoes, a little bit bigger threat for some of this hail. But outside of that, most of us aren't going to have to worry about a single thing tonight.
You may have seen some of those like severe weather impact meters that we show on TV, and it was wind followed by hail, followed by the minuscule tornado threat. So we've been telling you about this for at least the last 48 hours. That's kind of the ranking of the threats, and that seems to be what's going on.
Yeah, Sarah says she had a little hail down in Boston, New Haven with heavy rain. We've got lots of lightning in Frankfurt.
Oh,
Don't
no
doubt that with that.
Yeah.
Anytime we have a storm that can produce hail, which thunderstorms do, they don't always reach the ground. So most of the time it melts, but it's that friction in the cloud that often separates the charge. So it's an indicator that hail is present. So obviously you start to separate the charge, you get the lightning, and that's indicative of all of these storms that we've seen that have produced hail. There's a lot of lightning.
Yeah, and the National Weather Service, when they see these big lightning upticks in these storms, that's often enough to give them pause to issue one of those severe thunderstorm warnings for hail, because that's enough of an indicator for it.
Margie says Clarkson had, and Wax, so that's down toward the lakes. They had lots of hail and thunderstorms there. That's down across parts of Grayson County.
Down near Litchfield.
Yeah, not too far. It's a light show over here in Frankfurt. That's according to Liz chiming in. Again, appreciate all your reports. Thank you. We're just kind of going through them. Paula's just saying thanks for keeping us posted. Yes, indeed. Glad to do it. And here comes from Jefferson County, just lightly breezy and light rain from Nathaniel. Yeah, we haven't had much here today, and even in Louisville. Let me zoom back out.
But here it comes. Yeah, southern Jefferson County is starting to get hammered by some heavy rain, lightning, a little bit of gusty winds with this.
Even downtown.
Yeah, downtown starting to, but the heaviest of this is going to be right near like McNeely Lake along the Snyder as you work toward like Smyrna Road, Beulah Church, just east of the Preston Highway exit there as you work your way north and east into Okolona. It's there too.
Yeah, looking good. Brian Good is getting some rain right now.
Yeah, he says his dogs are getting crazy.
Oh, is he texting?
Now. Dogs are in panic mode, yeah. we're on a group text if you can.
Oh, sorry. I actually said that by looking at the radar. I wasn't even paying attention to my phone.
It's almost like you predicted. What's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, well, I could have guessed it. All right, let's see. I'm just looking to see if there's any other storms of concern.
We are dog sitting right now too, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's all sorts of barking at my house right now with all that thunder moving in. Crazy.
Ferris is too lazy to even care.
Ferris is so cute, by the way. Cute little puppy.
I'm looking down southern LaRue County, that's south of Buffalo near Magnolia. Again, decent rain, a little bit of wind, no hail there. I'm scanning all of these downpours that are developing just to see if there's any hail cores. Here in Louisville, well, we have a little rain falling downtown. Tough to see. Go to the SkyTrack. You can see some of the flares showing up on the camera. That means we've got raindrops at least hitting it, but nothing heavy. You can still make out the skyline. I don't know what's happened to the lights on top of the Mercer building, though. They were red the other night. Now they're just completely out. So maybe they blew a fuse.
Yeah, we've got a report of a quarter-size hail in Frankfurt. No surprise there, given what just blew through there. You know, it takes us probably 5-10 minutes to get a good number of these reports in, so it's hard in real time to tell you, like, oh, we know exactly this is getting quarter-size hail. Sometimes that's delayed by a few minutes.
Well, the interesting part is that the core of the storm is lying just outside the warning.
Yeah, the National Weather Service in Wilmington, Ohio, now handling this storm as it gets out of the Louisville's county warning area here, and it looks like drawing that polygon so skinny like that may not have been the best.
Yeah, again, it's mainly for hail. In that warning that covers Grant, Owen, and Pendleton counties, you've got about 6,300 people affected by that storm. So that's the one storm, and again, the purple area just
It's
outside,
right outside the warning
zone.
Yikes! Yeah,
You hate
tough.
to see that.
That's tough.
All right, for folks that may be watching us from up there, just know that that core of that hail is passing just off to the east of Suterville.
And it's worth noting we have 0 warnings in our 30 wave country counties at this time. So the scrolling text on the bottom of Wave television channel here is gone, and we don't have any severe weather that we're tracking at this moment here.
No, and really, we don't anticipate a whole lot more into the evening. The hail threat will come down. The wind threat will go up a bit as that front approaches.
Yep. And that's when the gustiest of the winds will be. You know, the holiday decorations outside, maybe in your neighbor's yard tomorrow morning if you didn't plan ahead.
All right. Yeah, I had that happen over the weekend.
My house made noises I didn't know it could make in that wind over the weekend.
That's
That was
kinda wild.
crazy. I have this dryer vent flap that was going nuts out there. You hear it all over the house.
I got back in town over the weekend. I was in Charlotte for a few days last week, helping our sister station down there, and they were experiencing that rain on Saturday as I was leaving. And boy, it was late Saturday into Sunday, and I got here and Sunday it was just like the wind. I'm like, holy moly!
Brian Good and I were talking a little earlier today. It seems like November, December, some of our windiest months here, even though usually it's like March, April, May. Don't rule out the fall wind season / strong storm season. It's a secondary one compared to the spring, but boy, it can feel every bit like April around here this time of year.
Yeah.
And if you look at the thermometer, yeah, temperatures in the lower 60s right now with all this Gulf tropical moisture working in just north of all that severe weather to our south.
All right, we're going to slowly wrap things up with no warnings in our viewing area, and we'll just, I'm going to breeze through a few more questions. I popped Myra's up. Frankfurt's starting to have lots of lightning. That was from, and by the way, I apologize because we're seeing your comments. That's just how many we've got. That was like 20 minutes ago, so that lightning is now well to your north, but thank you for the comment. We see them. Dan chiming in, what will the timing be for storms to move through? Dan needs his beauty sleep. I'm hearing you on that, Dan. If it's going to save any strands of hair for me, I need it too. What do you make that look like? There's no hope.
I mean, what do I say to that?
I mean, why do you make the face? Is what I was curious.
I just thought it was ironic.
Yeah. So for us, it's out of here. I'd say by 1-2 o'clock, the bulk of the thunderstorm chances past us here in Louisville. Once the front passes.
Let's see. As we're scrolling down, let's see. Hail in Southville. That's Vivian, who's on the line with us here. All of these comments, by the way, coming from our multiple Facebook pages that we're streaming this live on right now. So if you want to see your comment or have us read it out loud, of course, make the comment here on the stream. And that goes with any of our Wave Weather Now streams that we do.
Yeah, we've got lightning there in Campbellsburg. Again, that's where that storm is lifting farther to the north, too. So you've seen that across parts of Henry County. Pea-size hail in Mount Eden. Appreciate that. Don saying, keeping you posted from Howe Valley. Appreciate that. We've got a number of folks just chiming in saying there was hail in Waddy.
Yep.
Coming in from just a few minutes ago. We also had Joni saying hail coming through Harrodsburg, which we did. Amanda's asking a question about Indiana. And she wants to know, is there anything to worry about later tonight in Marysville?
And it looks like it's just going to be some gusty winds up that way as this front moves through. A few thunderstorms along that 1 to 2 a.m. for the highest potential on that.
Mariana had heavy rain over in Bonnieville. Melissa's saying there was hail in Sonora just a few minutes ago, and that was true. We had hail in Hodgenville. We were putting all of those folks online saying, hey, it's coming next to you, Hodgenville. And we were like in Grafenberg. We were trying to point out, letting you know where this hail was moving into after we got the report in Bardstown of it falling, which was about an inch.
Yeah.
And that's quarter size hail. And that caught us off guard. It happened just like that.
It spiked up so very quickly. I think it hit one of these pockets of instability just south and east of the metro here. And that thing went nuts.
All right, let's see. Is this the first of the night, or will this be all? Good question. Myra, as far as the severe weather is concerned, I can't say it's completely over, but you can see by looking at the radar trends that the bulk of it is moving through. We're fairly stable. We're not completely in. If we were unstable, all of these would be taking off and we'd be on
TV
massive
right
severe
now.
weather.
Yeah.
That's just not the case. So the threat is low. Let's leave it at that. The threat is very low.
And because all of these storms have been moving through over the last hour, it's worked over our atmosphere a little bit here. So it's harder for any one individual storm in this cluster that we're seeing now to get strong. It's going to take this cold front moving through to really perk things up a little bit. And that's when the wind threat kind of moves in. Again, 50+ mile per hour gusts, not out of the question with that.
Zach saying there's hail in Frankfurt that was about pea size, and Melody is commenting saying it's just a constant roar of thunder. That's probably the case anywhere. No hail in Shelbyville. It was just off to your east, Stephanie. Thank you. And the Grafenberg area had lots of hail, according to the Shelby County. Yes, and it looked like snow. So
that's a lot of little hail when it looks like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't. I don't doubt that, because that sort of target was right over top of them.
It was pretty impressive on radar, yeah.
Here's one from Sarah saying they're clear in PRP. Yeah, we haven't had much downtown either, by the way, just some light rain that we've seen, and there's still a little bit showing up on the SkyTrack camera.
Got a power outage. Bardstown, Nazareth Road, Old Delaney Store area there. Melissa, thank you for that report.
Yeah, the Philly Andrews down in Bardstown. Thank you. 439 without power there. So we probably had a little bit of wind with that. Obviously, if we've got power outages, hail doesn't always knock out power. We've got raining in Bardstown again. Looking at the radar, let's just go back to that. I'm going to zoom in just a bit. Go back to our home view. And here in Louisville, we've got rain falling not just downtown, but across a good chunk of Jefferson County, while PRP and Valley Station are seeing a little bit of a break in Okolona. The heaviest stretches from Fern Creek over through J-Town, Linden, and then over to the Portland area.
And that's lifting toward the north and east. So Middletown, Crestwood areas closer to like the Ford truck plant up there. You guys are next in line for some of that heavy rain and possibly some really tiny, like pea-size hail if that decides to develop there.
Yeah, waves of rain. You can see the clusters. Those are going to be moving through. I'm just going to leave this loop on here, and you can see what we're dealing with. It's not a constant. It's not one little line. These are just waves of showers and thunderstorms lifting to the north from the south that will be producing some pockets of heavy rain, potentially some small hail. And that's what we're going to deal with for the next few hours until the front moves in and can sort of sweep it all to the east.
We've got more of your comments here. We're still going through like the last 20 minutes worth of comments.
I'm going to fast forward. There's no way we can get to all of them.
We're trying to get more real time.
I'm going to the end here.
We're live streaming on 5 Facebook pages right now. So we've got like over 200 people with us at the moment, which is pretty good for almost an hour into this. So thank you for your viewership and for trusting us here. And if you've got any questions, you can ask them and we'll try to get to them before we wrap up here very shortly.
Yeah, there are a few thank yous in here. We appreciate that. Connie says there's bad lightning down in Lebanon, and you can see that storm pushing across LaRue County, far western parts of Marion County, and that's moving on to the north and east. So while the strongest of that storm probably won't reach Lebanon, you're seeing the lightning from it, no doubt. Let's see. Let's just roll down. We're getting close to the end here.
Power outages around Bardstown. Valerie Brady says she's seeing that on her Facebook. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I'm curious to see what the wind situation was when that moved through.
Yeah, question about the weather tomorrow morning from Daniel. We should be clearing out by then. Should see some sunshine tomorrow, but a much, much colder day in the wake of this front.
Absolutely.
Falling temperatures, while we've seen temperatures in the 60s now. We're at 61 degrees in Louisville, Our winds are out of the south at, what is that, gust 30 miles an
Gusting
hour?
to 30 right now.
So those southerly winds are sort of keeping our temperature up. By tomorrow, the winds behind that front coming in from the north and northwest are really going to cool us down. We should drop into the 30s during the afternoon.
And I should note, with kind of a wet ground and a quick wind direction change tonight with that front, there may be a few isolated to scattered power outages that puts some stress on some of the trees and tree branches. The good news is that our leaves are pretty much all down, so that'll help mitigate that somewhat.
Now, Brianna says Grafenberg had tons of hail, just tagged us. We appreciate the photos. And don't forget, if you have the Wave Weather app, some of you are watching from the app. All of you should have it, by the way. You can just go watch live, and you can watch any of our updates throughout the day. You can also send us your photos, and those photos come right into where we're looking here. So if you want to send us a photo, the best way to do it is through the Wave app. Don't forget, before you take the picture, turn it to the side.
Yeah, we want your photos to
Do you
look
think I was
like
trying to
this.
steal your
I was over here like, what on earth is he doing? But yeah, tap the submit photos button. You have to scroll pretty far down in the weather app, and we will review those photos, and some of them could end up on TV. So please do that for us.
We appreciate that. We've got power outages increasing, it looks like, in Bardstown up to about 900 now. Nickel and quarter size hail. Question is, do you think there's going to be any more? Kristen can't say no for sure, but again, the threat is very low, and that goes for everybody. So if you've had hail today, you've just been one of the unlucky ones because it's very sporadic. I mean, out of our whole 30 counties, there was only a place or two in about 3 counties that picked up hail. I can name them. There was Boston, Bardstown, and then as you worked your way into Grafenberg, those were the main hail zones that we've seen.
And speaking of Bardstown, Nelson County right now, as of last check, has 850 customers out. That's about 4% of the customers there in Nelson County. Just for some perspective, about 20,000 power customers there in Nelson.
All right. I rarely ever block users,
Oh,
but this,
no.
what was his name? I don't even know his name. Sean somebody. Boom, I just blocked him.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, let's get him out. All right. It won't allow, maybe you can just send us the photo if you can't post it. So appreciate all of the photos that you're sending in.
It looks like we're real time now in the comments.
Yeah, I just scrolled down, so we missed a bunch, but we appreciate all of the reports. We're going to have to wrap it up. We're coming up on 9:30. I've got to sort of reset and get ready for the news tonight. We did want to jump on while there are no, and there haven't been severe weather warnings for our viewing area for quite some time. I don't expect that we have a whole lot to worry about as we go through the evening and the overnight. Should there be a rogue warning, which we've already had a couple issued, we're going to be here and we'll jump back on and make sure you know about it. But at this point, the real deal of what's coming our way is going to be the colder temperatures. Now, before I let you go, I'm going to zoom back through the radar since we have a number of folks that may be new to the stream. We've been watching some of these downpours to the south. This is one lifting out of let's see, over from southern Nelson County, where you see Stiles to Raywick. That's western Marion County, some heavy downpours there. Back over into the Glendale area, pushing into southern parts of Hardin County. So we've got a couple of areas of lightning, thunder, could keep you up for just a little while. Litchville, northern Grayson County, seeing some of that rain lift to the north. The big show is farther to the south, and you see it on the radar. Behind the warm front, that's where we have the most instability, and that's where we see, let me just take off the radar. You can see the tornado warnings that remain in place.
Looks like we've got
down
3.
that way.
Yeah, one east of Meridian, Mississippi, one north of Jackson, Mississippi, and the other one down there, it looks like just south and east of Vicksburg there.
Yeah, and that's where we've had the sort of the potential for the last 2 days. We sort of outlined that with the Storm Prediction Center, saying this was the area we're really going to have to watch from Jackson all the way up toward Columbus. They were really going to become unstable with temperatures very warm today, lots of Gulf moisture coming in. You've got enough lift from the front pushing in, and that created the zone for not only the wind, but the tornado threat.
And not around here are we going to see anything of that nature. And the only reason is because we don't have the instability. We've been talking about this for like the last hour. You need that warm, sort of unstable thunderstorm energy laden air to get severe weather. And we're just not seeing that at this point. So it's mainly going to be a situation where the radar has more bark than its bite. May look impressive, but a lot of these severe grade wind gusts, 60 plus, may not make it all the way down to the surface here.
Yeah, no question. That's what we're watching. We've got our eyes also on our sister station off to the south, Meridian, Mississippi. I'll just kind of talk over this. They're going to talk about the tornado safety. They do have tornadoes on the ground in parts of Mississippi. We've seen that throughout the day today. They're showing you where to go. Oftentimes you hear that that's a bathroom, could be a hallway. Why is that? Because it's in an interior place. You don't want to be in one of the corners, and especially if you're not underground, basement is the best place to be. But if you don't have a basement, you can still just get in the center of wherever you are. That's important to know.
And I should mention down there, Meridian, most folks don't have basements. Water table is too high in South Mississippi there. So those folks know what to do. They know where to go when they don't have a basement, and you should too.
Yeah, the storm energy that we've been watching, this is the available energy for these storms to sort of grab and take off to explode. Did you see it? In fact, let me just play it again.
It went fast, that's for sure.
Yeah, you really have to watch closely because it's there out to our west, but then it just fizzles out as it moves through. So we just don't have the energy needed. That would be partially due to the lack of instability that we just don't have. We are fairly stable. And with that said, the future cast looks like this. The cluster of storms that we have now will gradually move to the north and east, quickly being caught by the line of storms that should fire along the front. As that moves closer to us, note the time on that. It's going to be probably around that 2 a.m. time frame, and then moving to our east as it continues to weaken after that point. And by morning, already starting to clear the skies a bit, and temperatures are cold.
And there is not a zero chance of like 1 or 2 snowflakes in southern Indiana very early tomorrow morning.
Shut your mouth. Did you say snowflakes?
Yeah, a couple pieces of data tonight have been showing that. In fact, the Futurecast we just showed did too. You can even see it on here just a little bit, just west of Covington there on the map. But no big deal there. It's more the temperature drop that, I mean, is really going to make an impact on your morning commute.
You're going to feel. I mean, we were in the 60s today. That's above average. We were 10 degrees below our record today, but here come the 30s for afternoon temperatures. That marks a pretty cold afternoon, especially when you combine a little bit of a breeze. It won't be quite as windy as tonight, but it's still going to be a little on the breezy side. Let's talk temperatures. There you see it. We drop into the mid 30s by morning. We may rebound near 40 with a little bit of sunshine, but I would say that's in the city at best. Most of you are going to stay in the 30s tomorrow. For the next 3 days, we've got cool temperatures. We will increase the cloud cover on Friday, and that brings in a chance for a few rain showers by the weekend.
Yeah, and it's not a washout of a weekend, by the way. Just a preview of that. Saturday morning, some showers. Sunday looks dry, and then we get into sort of a soaking type of event Monday into Tuesday. More on that later. Kevin will have the latest at 11.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to go do is put together the 11 o'clock forecast. We appreciate everybody jumping in here and saying hello, and we will let you have the rest of your evening and sort of get tucked into bed. And if we need to break back in, we will. We'll see you at 11 o'clock with an updated forecast. And if we have any warnings, we'll jump back on here. Hope you have a great night. See you at 11 o'clock.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you.
And portions of